Alright, in case you don't know who Boogie is, let me give you an explanation. Boogie was among the most popular YouTubers back in the classic era of YouTube. He did rants and gaming videos, but he was mostly known for shit like this.
Where's my Mountain Dew? I want a Mountain Dew! I want my goddamn Mountain Dew!
Unfortunately for our Discord mod friend here though, things have taken a sharp turn in the last few years. He went from some old dying YouTuber that no one cared about to some sacred lolcow in just a few years. He was getting blasted on the internet so bad that somebody made a documentary about him where he mentioned he's broke. This fact's going to be important later, by the way. Keemstar, in an attempt to help Boogie pay his bills, starts a podcast with him called Lolcow Live. In the 8 months since the podcast started, it really seemed like things were going good for Boogie despite a couple of controversial situations. However, in typical Boogie fashion, he pisses away all this good fortune like it's nothing. In an extremely comedic turn of events, he gets the great idea to start a cryptocurrency. In case you don't know, a celebrity starting up a cryptocurrency is basically one of the oldest scams in the book. You market it as a get-rich-quick scheme, get a bunch of gullible people to buy it, and then when it's at its peak, you sell all of your own tokens, leaving everybody else's tokens worthless. After all of Twitter and YouTube began explaining to him why this is fucked up, he eventually released an apology. On a phone call with another YouTuber, he tries to justify his shenanigans, saying that he needed money for his cancer treatment.
I do want to be genuine with you and the rest of the internet. I'm in pretty dire need of money. I have a lot of medical bills, and I'm fighting cancer.
Now, after everybody listened to the phone call, people called into question if Boogie actually had cancer, because this is exactly something he would lie about. And come the next podcast, it turns out everybody was right and that this guy is faking cancer. Despite tens of thousands of dollars being offered for Boogie to just show his medical records saying that he has cancer, he refuses, which basically confirms he has cancer.
I had people saying, oh, you're faking cancer, Jim. So I showed my diagnoses and stuff like that. I'm going to guess he's working on a system similar to Epic, which most medical people do. You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that a doctor has ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
And so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
How are you at one moment so desperate for money that you'd scam your fans, and then another flat out refusing the easiest money of your lifetime if you actually had cancer? Also, him playing the privacy card is complete bullshit, because in the documentary he literally lists all the fucking things wrong with him in his life. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure this guy got doxxed at least 3 times. So to explain more about his cancer so these next clips make sense, Boogie claims he has polycythemia vera. Now our favorite cuck here, Destiny, makes the claim that Boogie doesn't actually have polycythemia vera, and he actually only has secondary polycythemia, and confronts him on his podcast.
Testosterone will not cause you to develop a cancer. That doesn't, not for this particular cancer, it won't. It will cause you to develop secondary polycythemia. All of the things that Boogie described, both the things that cause this and the treatments for it, are consistent with secondary polycythemia. None of these are consistent with cancer. 2 years ago, you said that you had a cancer diagnosis, but now you just said now they're doing a biopsy to check for cancer.
Confirmation.
Is this House MD? Are we treating a blood cancer without actually confirming it yet? For 2 years you've been having a cancer treatment without confirming there's actually cancer there?
So Boogie's claim is that the doctor said he might have polycythemia vera, so he's treating him for polycythemia vera, but there's no actually proof or confirmation yet that he has polycythemia vera, but he's pretty sure he has it. Impeccable logic, Boogie. All the kindergartners are going to believe that one.
Yeah. So polycythemia just means you have an elevation of red blood cells. That's all it means. Your red blood cell count is high. And
so
I think
you can just be fat and sleep apnea can create
sleep apnea could do it. Yeah, anything. Yeah, like that could cause it. And the fact that Boogie said we knew that when I was taking TRT, this was a risk of that. That means that risk is to develop secondary polycythemia. That was the risk, and then that is what ended up happening, unfortunately. But it's not cancer. That was induced because of just a low oxygenation of the blood.
So why? Explain to me, Destiny, why there are markers, hormone markers in my blood that have tested positively for polycythemia vera.
If there was, then he wouldn't have.
Look at one of your medical papers, dude.
Yeah,
I'm never showing any of these motherfuckers my medical papers. Go fuck yourself. I said that 2 years ago, and I'm staying by it now. Destiny, Jackson, Clark, Keemstar, you can see it when I fucking die.
You could easily end this right now by just showing.
I would rather you motherfuckers continue to lark.
Prove it.
I'd rather you go ahead and print it.
If this is true, and you lied about cancer, this is the biggest scandal on the internet.
And it's not, but go ahead and print it anyway.
Also, at this point, it's probably important to mention the fact that he probably didn't even need the money in the first place. When Boogie was asked to send his medical documents to prove he spent the $5,000, he's only able to provide a couple documents that proved he spent maybe $300 at best. After he was confronted for his obvious lie, he then changed his story to say that he used the rest of the money to cover his expenses for the month because Keemstar wouldn't be paying him for that month for a trip, which is a complete and utter lie because Keemstar is actually the one making payments on Boogie's mortgage.
On a trip.
Yes, I'm being forced to go up there to film the fucking podcast live. I told him I didn't want to. He told me the business was going to pay for it. And then he just said he's taking it out of the check.
When the phone call was leaked and Keemstar confronted Boogie, he said this.
He played the fucking recording because he recorded you.
Then why? Then I understand that. Do you think people can edit things to be a little bit out of context?
When I first saw this, I literally laughed myself out of my chair because how the fuck are you gonna say that when there were 0 cuts?
I know. I'm sure he said polycythemia, maybe. He might have even said polycythemia vera. He never told you that you had cancer, though.
That's fair. That's true. I had to Google that.
Okay. Yes. Which is what we thought.
Oh my God.
And just like that, everything starts to fall into place. Boogie scammed his fans, pocketed the money, and then when somebody called him out for it, he played the sympathy card, and then when somebody called him out on that, he kept trying to lie until he couldn't anymore. I'm not lying when I say that I think this guy is probably up there with the top 10 most evil YouTubers. This is really one of those things that you could never come back from.
Boogie get fired from the show. We decided he has to get fired. I mean, this is like pretty fucked up.
You know you fucked up when even somebody like Keemstar can recognize that you did something fucked up. Boogie mailed his 1 million subscriber play button to Keemstar to auction off to charity, and he's also forced to wear the hat of his friend who has cancer. Also probably the biggest bummer of all for Boogie, he can't drink any more Mountain Dew.
Oh my god, yeah, Mountain Dew!
That's where we're at with the current Boogie drama as of July 20th. If you enjoyed the Yap Sesh, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Also, if you haven't already, check out my previous video where I talk about the weirdos of social media.
Why do I have 2 beds? One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for my hooker. One for me and one for the hooker.